Ladies and gents, I've turned those lights back there orange in honor of the DS1. Actually, the DS1W. This is the Waza edition of the Classic Boss DS1 Distortion pedal. All the Waza pedals are like new updates to old Boss classics, and they've generally got a custom sound or voice in them that doesn't exist in the original, and this one is no exception. It's got a two-position switch there labeled S and C. That's for standard or custom. Now, I will be straight up honest in this video. I was never a big user or super duper fan of the Boss DS1. It's a legendary pedal. It's the best selling guitar effect pedal of all time, but not one that I ever had in one of my rigs or one that I used. But the new custom voice does sound really cool in this, and I'll tell you, through this job, because it's a job, me doing pedal demo videos, I've discovered uses for pedals often that I never would have thought of in the past, just through plugging them in and experimenting, because that's always the best way to, understand if something's for you or not, is plug it in and get to try it out. And so it's really a great thing that I get the chance to do that with all these different effects. So what I'm hearing out of this pedal, both in the standard voice but also in the custom voice, is a fuzz-like quality when I get the gain up high, and a kind of smooth, soft attack, not dissimilar to what a muff does when it's set a certain way. Although this pedal always has a little bit more of a kind of an edge to it compared to something like a muff. A muff is smoother, and this has a kind of a hard edge to it that's a bit more distortion and a bit less soft vintage fuzz. And when I hear the DS1, I always think Nirvana in Bloom. That's just that sound. It's just that sound to me, man. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 99.96% sure that In Bloom is a Boss DS1 going into the clean channel of a Mesa studio preamp into a Crown power amp into Marshall cabinets. It was a massive part of Kurt's sound, and if you dig that tone and the sound of those records, it was like this was the Distortion. So it's hard to argue with that and deny, we're talking about millions of records sold and huge hits here that really resonated with people. Other users of the DS1, Steve Vai and Joe Satriani, used it in front of gainy Marshall type amps to add an extra layer of sustain and distortion. I mean, Steve always had one on his board. I think he even has a custom Ibanez pedal that's based one side of it off of a DS1 and the other side's more like a Screamer. So anyways, I enjoyed using it on that song at the beginning of the video. I was able to get some dynamic tones out of it, especially in that new custom setting, because it really responds to the guitar volume controls and pickup settings. So I'll solo some of those parts from the song in the beginning outside the mix now. I'm also going to play a bit more through the pedal, show you some sound examples. Not like you don't already know, but you're going to get an idea what the DS1W does, hopefully, from this video. So one of the things about our original DS1 is that it didn't have a heck of a lot of output. You kind of had to crank the level knob to get, the unity gain out of them. With this new sound, it definitely pumps up the mid-range, fills it all in, and then you've got, I think, 6 dB more output just right out of the gate. If I turn it on in original mode, right? Now, hitting the switch to the custom mode, definitely fills in a lot more through the mids and gets a lot louder. Okay, so I started out the tune with the volume on the guitar down around maybe 7 or 6, and with the bridge pickup in parallel. And then when I go to the next part of the song, kind of the B section, I guess, I roll the volume up on the guitar, and I switch into full series humbucking in the bridge pickup. So I was just thinking how much I like the custom mode better than the original DS1 mode, and lo and behold, the next part I picked up to cut was, I thought I'd just try something with my baritone here and play something low. And the original mode works much better for this part. And the reason is the exact opposite that the custom mode works for the other guitar parts, which is it's more scooped. And so when I bring up the level, I've got the level almost cranked to reach unity gain, and I got distortion on about 1 o'clock, tones on about half, standard mode. And it just kind of fills in the lows, and it's got a scooped kind of thing that just works really good for this part. So without the pedal, it sounds like that. Turning it on, in the custom mode, that just got too in the way of everything else that was going on. So the other thing just works great. I mean, it's super indie rock sounding and just kind of like not the prettiest distortion sound, but it works great for the part. And when you hear everything all blended together, the baritones and the regular guitars, it sounds pretty cool, I think. Okay, so I just got the lead on the song at the beginning of the video. And I decided to go all out and kind of like crank the drive way up, use the custom mode with the full mids, and just get what is almost amounts to like a fuzz guitar sound, really. So I started out in the middle position, and I am finding the pedal quite dynamic, because what happens is it won't collapse and do its fuzzy-like character if you've got the volume back down on the guitar a little bit. But then when you lay into it, the volume all the way up, almost sounds like a germanium fuzz when you've got the gain up this high. And it's doing its thing. Okay, so here's what it sounded like in the middle position with the volume back down a little bit. Right, and then I hit the bridge pickup and... did a solo, something like that. And it's kind of cool if you just embrace it and go for that fuzzy kind of psychedelic quality. Now, when you back the drive down, you get a little less of it. So let's listen to that. I'm going to go over to the drive channel on my amp now. Okay, and I've got the bright cap turned off because I already know that it's not going to dig a bright cap on an amp. So it's just like kind of a neutral kind of crunch. There it is, folks. Thanks for watching my video on the DS1W, the Waza Craft edition of the classic Boss Orange Distortion, the best-selling effect pedal of all time. Lo and behold, I really actually dug the sound of the standard mode on my baritone. It just worked perfect for that part. It's sort of scooped character, really sat in the mix and in the track well for that particular guitar part. And then the fuzzy, kind of more collapsing high gain sound that I got on the solo was dynamic and fun, you know, rolling the volume up and down on the Destroyer guitar. It just worked well for the part. Like I said earlier, through doing these videos and writing these little tunes and stuff, I learned things. And I've got a better idea of what the DS1 and DS1W does now and where I would use it, I think. You can check it out further at that link in the video description below. Click there, it'll take you to more info about the Boss DS1W Waza Craft. Please hit subscribe if you haven't. Hit the little bell beside the subscribe, you'll get an alert when I put out new videos. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'm Pete Thorne. Take care.